100 more food hacks that we learned in restaurants. Industry secrets that you'd never know.
Oh, sweet. Food hacks. Techniques that allow anyone to do things simply that most people don't know about. Well, this should...
And there you go, sous vide chicken breast done in 30 minutes.
Look at those chicken breasts. That chicken knows all the words to The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Hi, I'm a total nobody, and today I'm reacting to Josh Weissman's 100 cooking hacks I learned in restaurants. As a disclaimer, I've worked in many restaurants, but I'm not close to half as skilled, knowledgeable, charismatic, handsome, or any other superlatives you can think of as any of these gentlemen. But what I am is a cynical asshole, particularly towards food content. I'm a semi-serious home cook and own a lot of kitchen utensils and gadgets that most people don't, so I'm going to keep a running tab of everything they use that I don't have per Amazon. Let's begin.
Make a double or a triple or a quadruple batch of your favorite cookie recipe. I want you to freeze this, and then whenever you want cookies...
Okay, so the first ultra-secret kitchen hack that only industry professionals know about and keep secret is to freeze stuff. Thanks, I guess.
Tea towel on the fish, or boiling water. You're gonna pour it over the tea towel and unzip your fish. There you have it, your skinless fish fillet and some fish skin.
Yeah, that's actually a good one and a good tip about keeping the fish skin. You can crisp those up separately when cooking your fish fillet for a tasty accoutrement, because as we all know, fish skin is the bacon of the sea.
Struggling to get your chicken skin crispy before it burns? Start with a cold pan. Chicken skin dried off. Down in our cold...
Sure. I've seen this recommended for bacon as well.
Olive oil onto plate. Take your herbs, in this case basil, anoint them in a little bit of olive oil. Now for the key step, yes, the microwave. Give them about 2 minutes. Be sure to add a little salt, nice little beautiful basil-y piece of stained glass.
Oh, that's neat. Cool trick.
Do your baked proteins look sad, plain, a little ugly? Zhuzh it up with a breadcrumb crust.
That's just a recipe and a very, 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 very old one. May as well call shake and bake a kitchen hack.
Making a dough and you want it to be easier to work with? A lot of the time people think when they're kneading their dough, they have to knead it until it's done. You can also just stop and let it rest for like 10 minutes. After resting, that once very sticky dough is now smooth. It's already become elastic.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that most people who are making their own dough from scratch already know about resting their dough.
The secret to crispy flat bacon is your oven, not your frying pan. Add a little bit of water. The humidity is going to help that bacon stay flat as it crisps up. More parchment on top, weight it down, and into your oven. Look at that bacon. Look at how flat it is. Look at how perfect.
That's another cool technique, but that bacon looks so uniform that it's actually unappealing. It looks like vegan bacon or a bacon-shaped dog toy. Sometimes imperfections are the sign of perfection.
If you want to get rid of pesky red stains from your Tupperware, here's a hack. Put a little dish soap, a sponge, and some warm water. Close it up.
Ah yes, a great food hack. When I think about recreating the experiences of another restaurant at home, I'm always wondering how to clean out my Tupperware.
There's nothing worse than biting down into a crustacean shell. Get yourself to Amazon, buy one of these. Blacklight flashlight. For me, you spot them and pick them out.
Do you hear yourself? Buy a blacklight from Amazon so you can remove pieces of crab shell from your crab meat. That sentence sounds like it was comprised in AI using randomly generated words. Also, $12.99.
Here's a way to take frozen fries and make them not suck with your microwave and an air fryer. Start with some frozen fries. This microwave, we're gonna give these about 5 minutes. Go to town. Into the air fryer basket, into the air fryer, maximum temperature, about 15 to 20 minutes. So crispy, so light and fluffy on the inside. One of the best fries I've ever had.
Whoa!
That is an actual food hack. I'm starting to think this guy brought his A game and the other guys are just filling air.
You got a little Parmigiano triangle, if you will, but you're always left over with the rind. What are you gonna do?
Throw it in your Sunday sauce that you cook on a low heat for hours. It'll melt down and add more complexity. Don't do whatever he's about to do.
If you've got some dry ice, you can turn a stand mixer into an ice cream machine.
This motherfucker said, if you've got some dry ice. Like, you know, at some point it occurred to them how ridiculous it is to use dry ice in a video about easy food hacks, and wrote that into the script just to cover their asses. Also, $10.99.
Want to make the best cookies ever? Well, there's very few recipes out there that are the best that don't rest their cookie dough.
Ah yes, the long-awaited sequel to Rest Your Dough. Rest Your Cookie Dough. Wonderful.
Good steak's expensive these days, but it doesn't have to be. You can take a chuck steak and use sous vide to make it ribeye tender by cooking it overnight at 137 degrees Fahrenheit.
I figured at some point in this video they'd be pushing people to buy a sous vide machine, and here we are. Yes, for just $150, you can make a $10 steak taste like a $30 steak in just 12 hours. Food hack.
Cook a super thick steak, but you don't have a sous vide. This is called the reverse sear method.
This is just a cooking technique. How is it a hack? Want to have grilled cheese? Grill your grilled cheese. Food hack.
All done with your pickles? Have a bunch of juice? Don't toss it. You can make a lot of things with this. Talking marinades, even salad dressing.
That's just a good idea no matter what you do with it. Pickle juice has so many great applications that you should never ever throw it out. Here's one that's better than a salad dressing. Canned tuna, capers, grated garlic, fresh cracked black pepper, bit of salt, mayonnaise, good glug of pickle juice, twist of lemon if you're feeling it, season to taste, let it marinate in the fridge overnight, next level tuna salad.
You get a pizza and it sticks to the peel? Sure, flour works, but you know what works better? Semolina. Okay, they're like little miniature ball bearings.
That's just how to properly use a pizza peel. Also, how many of you own a pizza peel? $32.99.
Here's how to turn your domestic oven into a Neapolitan pizza oven. We're gonna use the broiler to create the radiant heat that you would get from a traditional pizza oven to quickly cook the top so that the whole pizza cooks in under 90 seconds.
This is an actual food hack, making use of things most people have, but using them in unconventional ways.
You ever go to a restaurant and you see those nice little cheese ribbons on salad? You can do that, but I think a lot of people have one of these. Instead, use a vegetable peeler on your cheese and guess what you get?
That's literally what that thing is for. That's not a food hack any more than plugging in your microwave is a food hack.
Want to cook a great steak faster, more evenly, and with an amazing crust? Flip it every 30 seconds. Well, by flipping it every 30 seconds, we're bringing heat to the surface of the steak as quickly as we can, turning it over, letting this side rest while heat still penetrates.
That's an interesting technique because it defies what a lot of people are taught when cooking a steak.
Want to rise dough faster, but you don't have one of those expensive proofers? Don't worry. Just put it in an empty oven or even a drawer with the light on and a mug of hot water.
I know proofing and resting aren't precisely the same, but this is still part 3 of Rest Your Dough.
Here's a way to make a Slurpee without a frozen carbonated beverage machine. Add the guar gum, add the pectin, and add the yucca powder. This has been in the freezer for about half a day.
Okay, so apparently the target demographic for this video is people who don't have measuring cups, but have guar gum, low methoxyl pectin, and yucca extract lying around. Just go to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee.
Is your sauce too thin and you don't want to deal with a roux? Use a cornstarch slurry. It'll thicken up real quick. Some Asian cooking techniques, it's way easier than making a roux, and it works on a variety of sauces.
I mean, like you said, this is a core technique in about a half dozen Asian countries, including China and Korea, but sure, food hack.
I got another hack for you in the middle of this. You ever rest your meat and it somewhat overcooks? By instead rest it on a wire rack.
That is literally what this is for. It's not a hack.
Before you sear your meat, always dry it off completely with a paper towel, then put it in the pan.
Okay, so we're reaching the point where you've just taken each individual step to cooking a steak and declared each one a food hack. Well, you know who's a hack? You're the hack. I'm just kidding. These guys are just trying to make content.
Make your sorbet fruitier using fructose.
This guy with his chemistry set, $13.99.
Fastest way to clean your blender. Warm water, soap, and turn on your blender. And it cleans your blades.
Hey, so this guy had one earlier about cleaning things. Are they just making the brown guy clean up?
Problem. You've got a frozen turkey breast that you want to have for dinner. This is going to take a couple of days to thaw in a fridge. It'll take just cook it from frozen. It's faster, juicier, and safer. Just by thawing the turkey and cooking it straight from frozen, you keep about 30% more juice.
Yeah, that's a good hack. Well reasoned, well explained, good.
You ever add tomato paste, but it doesn't quite add the flavor you thought it would? Instead, try doing this. Cook your tomato paste first. Never just add it to a finished dish and call it a day, but add it to an empty pan, whatever your aromatics are. In this case, I'm making a vodka pasta, so
I don't know anyone who throws uncooked tomato paste into anything, but this is also true of tomato sauce. If you're using a jarred tomato sauce, don't just throw it on the pasta. Cook it down. Even if you add water and cook it until that water content dissolves, the flavor will deepen.
You want to damage your nice countertops, but you got a lot of crumbs? Use a squeegee. Not a scratch.
Brown guy's still cleaning up after them, I see.
The secret to nacho cheese that melts like the store-bought stuff, but tastes like real cheese because it's made with real cheese, is Alka-Seltzer.
Meanwhile, this guy's doing actual food science, $9.89.
Take your leftover scraps, put them in a jar, and save them for soup or stock. All these
Now the brown guy is literally taking out the trash. Absolutely shameful.
dredging chicken, your hands get all clumped up and messy and it just gets harder and harder to dredge. The hack is use one hand for dry stuff and the other hand for wet stuff. Never mix the two.
Don't think I don't see you, Josh. This is Chef John from foodwishes.com's wet hand, dry hand technique. You just reversed the order so you wouldn't have to give him credit. Disgraceful.
Like your cutting takes forever. A chef once told me the less you put your knife down, the more you get done. It's all about efficiency. If you're cutting a lot of something, repeat the same motion before you move on to the next step. Finish it all, then put your knife down. So for
I will wholeheartedly agree with this. The more efficient you become in the kitchen, the less it feels like a chore and more like something you enjoy doing.
you want to deal with chopping onions? Put them in a food processor. Nobody cares about knife cuts in a meatball or a sauce.
Have you
Most food processors are poorly made and difficult to upkeep. This is a Robocoup, the industry standard, and it's $1,300.
Have you ever wondered how they take mandarins that look like this and turn them these perfectly pith-free jewel-like mandarins that can? The secret is a helper enzyme, pectinex. Let me show you the trick.
Man, this guy is really into fruit, and no, I've never wondered that. No, I'm not buying more chemicals for whatever weird anal retentive slice of fruit you're making. $18.99.
Make a soup out of just about any vegetable. This is what restaurants do. If you have a stick blender, just give that a quick run through, add a touch of olive oil. That's just gonna make it a little bit richer, a little bit creamier, a little smoother. You have a beautifully smooth, delicious instant soup. Shout out to restaurants for that one. Now,
Am I crazy, or does that not look all that smooth? Also, stick blender, $40.
When you're making pie dough, you gotta cut the butter into little even pieces. It's never even, it's inconsistent. So take your butter, put it in the freezer, and grate it. You get consistent little butter pieces.
Yep, I do this all the time. It's also good for biscuit dough and scone dough.
Don't have a piping bag? Okay, well what about just a regular plastic bag? Whatever batter or whatever you need a piping bag for. Now, you cut that tip, and you essentially have a piping bag right here.
I cannot envision a scenario where someone needs a piping bag but doesn't think to do this with a plastic bag. This is bordering on common sense, like don't put your head in the oven or don't take a bath with your toaster. Also, it's really funny that the thing that happens whenever you do this happened and the hole got bigger as he sharted that pancake batter out.
Which brings me to the next one. Everybody loves a perfectly circular pancake, but what could make that?
Who has ever cared that their pancakes are perfectly circular? Who are they?
Sous vide has a reputation for being too slow. This chicken breast takes over an hour, way too long for a quick meal on a Tuesday night. By starting hotter, you're getting the surface temperature of the chicken breast up to the sous vide bath temperature faster, saving you all that time and getting these chicken breasts done in half the time of traditional sous vide. And there you go, sous vide chicken breasts done in 30 minutes, not an hour. And all these need now
Look at those chicken breasts. That chicken knows all the words to The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Also, you know a cooking technique is good when you need a hack, just for it not to take forever. Top tier tech, guys.
If you're doing a caramelized onion, normally they take about an hour to do. So instead, here's what you do to kickstart it. Turn the heat up to medium high. Let them sit for a couple of minutes. And they'll start to look like this. Okay, they're burning a little bit, that's good, right? We're getting a little bit of a coating on the pan of fond at a time. Then a few minutes later, it starts to burn again, and guess what? You're gonna deglaze again. Reduce all that water out. Scrape up the brown bits on the bottom. And you can see we're already like halfway to a caramelized look in like 5 minutes. Rinse and repeat that for another 5 or so minutes, and in 10 to 15 minutes total, you have essentially a caramelized onion. Similar flavor, but a little bit less cooked.
Yeah, here's why you shouldn't do that. Because the end result is similar to caramelized onion, but not caramelized onions. Taking the time to make caramelized onions teaches you a bunch of useful skills in the kitchen. It's going to take a whole lot of onions, so you're improving your knife skills. The other thing it does is it teaches you to multitask. When you do prep in a proper kitchen, you're working from a prep list. If in an hour the only thing you accomplished was making caramelized onions, you'd be out of a job. So you start your caramelized onions, work on something else, stir, 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 do something else, stir, stir, stir. Caramelizing onions are perfect for teaching you to do multiple things at once in the kitchen. You can keep them on low while you learn the skill and work to improve at it as you feel more comfortable. Don't cheat your caramelized onions. Make them because some things are worth doing right, and this is one of them.
If you have a stained and smelly cutting board, use lemon and salt to make a scrub. So just go to town. Salt works as an abrasion, lemon works as a refresher.
Well, 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 look who's here to clean up again. The brown guy. You guys make me sick, do better.
You ever cook a recipe and realize halfway through, oh snap, I'm missing something. Let's prevent that by mise en place. Put everything in its place. With everything in front of me, I can cook without stopping. Efficiency.
This is extremely, extremely true. Always do your mise en place before you cook.
For example, here, I have a recipe for vodka pasta.
Now who was making vodka pasta?
In this case, I'm making a vodka pasta, so...
Oh yeah, it was Josh, making the brown guy do his prep work for him.
Here's how to char peppers quickly. You could use a broiler, you could just kind of bake them at a high temperature, but the best, fastest way is directly over an open flame, whether that be a campfire or on a grill or directly over your kitchen stove.
What's weird about this one is I've only ever seen peppers roasted this way. So this seems like a hack where you take the most common method of doing something and act like it isn't and call it a hack.
Want to blanch a small amount of vegetables but don't want to deal with the pot, the strainer, this, that bowl? You can do it all in one bowl with a water kettle. This only works with a small amount of vegetables, but let's say you've got enough green beans for 2 to 4 people, or any vegetable really. Large bowl, tea kettle, boiling water. Take it off, pour just...
How is buying an electric kettle easier than using a pot? Are you guys sponsored by those Air Mall catalogs? $27.99.
once you've cut your cucumbers, before you dress them, first season them lightly with salt and then toss them together. Let them sit for about 5 minutes, then squeeze them and that'll drain them of their excess water.
This is very true and a very good technique that applies to many vegetables served cold that I first learned from Meng Chi.
Hello everybody!
Stale bread sucks. It's easy to fix. Just take your stale bread, wrap it in some foil, put it into an oven at about 300 degrees Fahrenheit or so, just long enough to warm the bread through. It will drive off the excess moisture, it will melt those starch crystals, and it will make this bread not suck.
This is also a good tip, but it's really funny to me that he's like, just take your artisanal loaf that you spent $12 on but completely forgot about. Another thing you can do if you have stale bread, make bread pudding, make stuffing, no, that's all I got.
Storing homemade sauces is messy and inefficient. I love my deli containers, but instead, store them in squirt bottles. If you store them in squirt bottles, it's the same concept. I mean, they're gonna stay completely airtight. You can leave them in the fridge. Now they store easily and they're immediately ready to use.
If you want to go full squirt bottle douchebag, make sure these aren't with sauces that are too chunky or thick, or you'll go to use them and find they're just clogged up. I wouldn't recommend this, but if you do, you're going to want to invest in a chinois or some cheesecloth.
I want this to be crystal clear. If you want to be fancy and make it a chefy consomme, all you need to do is freeze it. Get yourself an ice cube tray. Pour the chicken stock into the ice cube tray. We're gonna freeze this. I'm gonna show you how the ice water is gonna get consomme so clear you can take the chicken burger. Now that you've frozen your chicken stock, just mold them, pile these in an appropriate device with a coffee filter. There you go, just stack them up. This is gonna go in the fridge overnight as the ice thaws. It's going to self-filter, self-clarify, self-concentrate your chicken, clarify deliciousness. Look.
That's a neat trick, but I want you to stop and think about this entire video, how the goal is to make things simple, and imagine pouring chicken stock into an ice cube tray, freezing it, and then straining it for another day just to slightly change its appearance. Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that a rice cooker is the end-all be-all of great rice. But what if you don't have a rice cooker? You don't want to buy one? Well, if you have a pot, here's how you do it.
Wait, have I been cryogenically frozen for thousands of years and humanity has forgotten that you can boil rice?
So you make a beautiful lasagna, you take it out of the oven, you immediately cut into it and serve it, and it just kind of falls flat all over the plate. It almost unravels. That's because you're doing it wrong. You have to let it rest for about 10 to 15, sometimes up to 20 minutes if it's really thick before.
Yeah, this is a good shout out, and it's just as true for baked ziti, shepherd's pie, or any casserole. I know it's hard, I know you're hungry and made dinner for the family and everyone's reaching for it, but no, let it rest, just like you would a steak. It will be much, much better.
Pickling something taking too long? Here's how restaurants do it instantly. In a splash of pickling liquid. Open up a vac sealer.
If a restaurant does that, I don't want to eat there. Also, $130.
For precision plating or precision anything in the kitchen. I get made fun of for this, but honestly, I've got chunky fingers. Sometimes with all the caffeine I drink, I'm a little shaky. So, culinary tweezers, very underrated.
Oh, fuck you. Look, he's even doing the thing you see in infomercials where people act like they can't do anything for themselves. If you are cooking for people that would be impressed by the use of tweezers, get better friends, get a new family, move out, start a new life. This one isn't working out for you. And make sure you subscribe. Bye.